Hello fellow woodworkers, welcome to this week's edition of the Garage Workshop 10-minute tool review. The votes have been counted, the decision has been made. This week I'm going to be reviewing the Dewalt DWE6423 Random Orbital Sander. Roll the intro. So last week I ran a community post, a poll, and I asked you guys to give me your opinion on which of the 3 random orbital sanders I should buy. In that were the Bosch GEX251 and this one, the Makita BO5041, and this one, the Dewalt. Now, at the time of buying, the Dewalt was the one that you all favoured. I think now, though, it might just be neck and neck with the Bosch. But I wanted to go for something that, A, had build quality behind it and was a very well-known name. And I think the 3 that I picked are a break from what I normally do. Because if you watch the channel and you see the amount of Parkside reviews and obviously Work Zone as well, I buy a lot of my tools from companies like that. I have got a random orbital sander at the moment, which is the Ryobi, but it's a battery related one, and in fact I don't know if any of you have got it, but it's really heavy on batteries. You literally only get probably 20 minutes before the 18-volt battery is completely flattened. So I wanted a corded one, and I've gone for this Dewalt. So what I'm going to do is open it up, we'll give it a go, put it through its paces and see how it looks. So let's open it up now. Okay, so what is in the box? Well, you've got one free disc, which is PAT sandpaper disc that comes with it. You've obviously got the dust hood, and this is part of the Dewalt airlock system, which they have on quite a few of their tools. You've got the 3-year guarantee that comes in it, which I will be doing because obviously sanders get quite a lot of action, so I will definitely be filling that in. And you've got the instruction booklet, and you've got the actual unit itself. Now, it's a 280 watt unit, and it's got 6 variable speeds, which take it at the lowest rating from 800 cycles to the highest setting, which takes it to 1200 cycles. It weighs about 1.2 kilograms, I think. I have to say it's a really nice sort of ergonomic design. One of the other key things about it is it's got a really long lead. The power lead on this unit is longer than it is on even on some of their more expensive models. It's 2.5 meters, the power lead, which when you're sanding, obviously the longer the lead, certainly the better. It's one of a number of Dewalt's ranges, the hand sanders. They've all got roughly the same design, and obviously they go up in price. This is the entry level one. I think it was £84.99. I'll just put the price on the screen, and I bought it from Amazon. So I'm very keen to see how it's going to work. Now, having never tested a sander before, I did think, well, what's going to be the best way to do this? So how I'm going to do it, I've just got a piece of wood that's got paint on it, and I'm literally just going to hold the sander on there for a certain amount of time. Obviously we'll measure the sound, see how loud it is, but I'm just going to put it on there for a certain amount of time, and then we'll have a look at how much the sander takes off. But the first thing is, let's have a good old look and close up at the body of the sander. Okay, so on the side you can see this is the variable speed dial, where it goes from the lowest setting 1 to the highest setting 6. You've obviously got the main palm grip here with reinforced rubber sides either end, and then at the front you've got the on-off button that you can see here. It's one of the sort of soft squidgy sort of rocker type on and off buttons, and it's enclosed in this really nice rubber housing, and obviously then you've got the bottom, the typical pattern for Dewalt, and you can just see there the sort of turning space of the sander, and then the dust extraction at the back. Now, as I said, this uses Bosch's same system, So when you put on the dust hood, it's this lock system, air lock system, so that when you put it on, it's meant to form a complete airlock seal. Now, off camera, I have tried, and my current fitting Hoover will not attach to this, but I do know that I can get an adapter that will convert this to just a normal standard Hoover fitting. So for now, for the test today, I'll use the attached bag that comes with it, but obviously long term it needs to have proper dust extraction, so I will be either making one myself, I'll either design one or see if I can find one to print out on a 3D printer. So we'll be using that in the test today. Okay, so we're 10 centimeters away and it's starting on 15 decibels. Let's see where we get to. Okay, so at setting number 1 it was 67 decibels, but it's on its high setting it was only 69 decibels, so not a massive range, and as you could probably tell, hopefully not very loud at all. Let's get sanding. Okay, so hopefully you can see I've got squares marked out. Let's just move that a bit over so you can see it. So I've got squares marked out, and what I'm going to do is just hold the sander in each of these squares for the time it takes me to count to 10 in my head. And I'm using this, which is just a really cheap Parkside P120 grit sanding disc, which should, because it's meant to be compatible, should just fit on the bottom like so, which it does. So as I said, I'm going to just count to 10 in my head and set it onto the lowest speed, and then we'll just go each disc 10 seconds through each of them. Okay, so the test is over, and actually I'm really quite pleased with how the results have turned out. I'm hoping that you can see this clearly. If not, what I'll do is if I look at the footage and don't think it is, I'll put a little close up. But this first one, this was 10 seconds on the lowest speed. You probably can't see, but it's just about left a sort of 3/4 of a mark, but actually some of the original was still on there, and I did try to put an even amount of pressure on each time. The second one is a bit clear, and in the second one you can also see the void, and obviously with a sander there's a gap in the middle where the actual sanding bit is attached, so you always get a void in the middle. Bit easier to see the void there, but there's a definite clear shape with the beginning of sort of an inner circle. The third one, which is the third speed, a much clearer circle around the edge, and the paint has actually been taken back to the wood in one of those circles. You can see it's just starting to come off there. Number 4, again, not as much clear wood as there is here, but a lot of the paint removed all the way around. Number 5, you can quite clearly see there, we've got down to quite a lot of bare wood. It's sort of half and half. It was actually quite difficult to hold on. Hopefully you'll have seen that in the video, but it is down to the wood there. And then last but not least is number 6, and you can see literally exactly half has been taken down to the wood. So very, very pleased with the little test, and again, just with cheap P120 Parkside paper, and if I was doing a proper project I wouldn't necessarily use that. But what I'm going to do now is just put it on number 6 and just have another great movement over, give it a little bit more sand and see what it looks like. So let's do that now. Okay, so overall, what are my thoughts on the Dewalt? Well, first of all, let me start off with the one thing that I'm not massively keen. Well, there's two things. The first one is just the position of the button. It's actually, for me, it's quite awkward to turn it on and off when you're sanding. And if you, I don't know if you saw when I was sanding this bit that I actually lifted it off to turn it on and off, which you probably are expected to do, but with my Ryobi sander, the button is actually here and you can slide it through both sides. And I do have to say on the Ryobi, that's a bit annoying because sometimes you accidentally do it. So that's the only thing, and I think it's probably just a case of me getting used to it. The other issue for me is the dust collection. So the dust collection hood, as you can see, hasn't really collected much dust at all, but there is quite a lot of dust lying around. So I think when I am able to attach my shop vac to it, I don't think that'll be a problem. And again, I have exactly the same problem with my Ryobi. It sort of catches all the fine particles of dust, but doesn't seem to catch anything else than that. And obviously, with it being a Dewalt, that is a very proprietary lock that's on the back, the airlock system. So I'm going to have to design something specific or look for something on Thingiverse to see if there's one that matches it already. So they're the 2 points that I'm not too keen on. But in terms of what I am keen on, number one, I can only compare this to my experience with my Ryobi, and the way that this sands in comparison is night and day. A much cleaner sand, it's a lot less hard on your arm, and by that I mean it's got special technology apparently, which means that after using it for a while it doesn't sort of affect your arm with a vibration. Whereas my Ryobi one and my cheap work zone one, when you've used it for 5 minutes it feels like you've had a workout. But for this, with this one, it didn't feel anywhere near as bad. I could have literally carried on doing that all day long, which is good because obviously when you're sanding, 9 times out of 10 you do sand for quite a long time. So that is a definite plus. In terms of the ergonomics, it's really nice, it's really handy to hold. It feels a nice comfortable design when you're using it, and as I said, it's a nice thick solid long cable. So overall, am I pleased that I spent £84.99 on it? Yes, of course I am. And I wanted for this to go for something which I knew was going to be a little bit better than the quality of the tools that I usually have. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with Work Zone and Parkside tools, but I think for something like this where it's going to get a lot of action, then I am glad that I stepped up and I paid the extra bit of money for the Dewalt. And after all, I don't think £84.99 is a huge amount of money for what potentially is going to be quite a workhorse tool. So overall, is it a winner? It is for me, and I would give it about an 8 out of 10. It's not a fest tool, I get that, and obviously Dewalt has a lot more in their range that are more expensive and probably do a good enough job, a better job than this, sorry, but it does a good enough job for what I'm going to want it for. And when I've solved the main issue of getting on the dust extraction, I think it's going to be an absolutely brilliant product, and I do recommend it to my fellow woodworkers. So thank you for joining me on this week's edition of the Garage Workshop. As I said in last week's video, please keep sharing. If you know anybody who's interested in woodworking, please get the Garage Workshop name out there. Share the YouTube channel. We're growing really nicely. This week I think we've added over 10 members, which is absolutely fantastic for me, and I would love to get to 1,000. So if this is your first time, please can I ask you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, like and comment. If you're one of my devoted regular viewers, thank you so much for your continued support. Don't forget to like and comment, and I'll catch you in next week's video. Have a fantastic week. Take care, fellow woodworkers.